Talking about lift safety and how to operate the Genie lift. First thing, we gotta power it on. There's a key, lives up in the lockbox upstairs. Put it in, switch it on. This button needs to be pulled out in order to work. And then the sucker is ready to drive. All right, when you're ready to go up in the air, always wanna make sure this door is closed so you do not fall out of the lift. You want to make sure the lift is on a nice even surface, because if it's tipped one way or the other, it's going to start to beep at you, and it's really unsafe to think it tip over. You want to be really careful. As you start to go up, you'll see that these little things sweep out from the sides, these little skirts. If they come into contact with anything, like you're sitting on a cable or there's something impeding them, it's going to beep at you and it's not going to let you go up. Pretty much if anything is funky, it's not going to let you go up into the air. Watch the skirts. As we're coming down, you see it's a ton of weight. There's hydraulic pressure in there. You want to look all around the lift to make sure nobody's like sitting on it or leaning against it. If you're working around a lift, never sit on it or lean against it, because it will crush you. Don't put your hands in there. If you drop something in there, you just let it get destroyed. Don't try to grab it, pull it out. I've never seen that happen, but it's good to say. The maximum weight to be in the lift is 500 pounds. You can fit 2 people in the lift, but if you're 2 big folks, you want to make sure you're under 500 pounds. The maximum weight when this guy is extended is 250 pounds. So you don't want to go over that because it becomes unsafe. All right, so after we've powered it on, we come over to the control panel, which is right here. It's already mounted to the back of the Genie, but it pops off. You can move it wherever. So if you're in the lift, you can take it off and you can attach it to the lift. But for right now, we'll just walk behind it as we're using it. In order for the sucker to power on, you gotta pull this up, wait a few seconds, you'll see the lights flash. And we got green, that gives us the battery, all that good stuff. So there's 2 buttons here that kind of tell what this joystick does. This one is for the wheels, you got a picture of the cart, and then this one is for the actual lift itself to raise it up and down. So if we're driving it, we want to hit the wheel one. Boom. Then we just grab the joystick, there's a little clutch right there. Pull that sucker in, and then as soon as we push it forward or backward, the Genie is going to move. And the speed is dictated by how far you push this guy. So if you just do it a little bit, it'll go real slow. Or if you crank it, it's going to go really fast, so be careful. It's good to go slow. So in order to steer, you got these 2 buttons on top. So again, the little clutch on there needs to be pulled. And then as you push the button, you can see the wheels move. Look at them go. All right. So it takes a few tries to get used to, but once you get it, it makes sense. You got a horn button. That's pretty obvious. And then in order to raise the basket up, you switch over to this guy. Hit that button. You're not going to want to operate it from the back because we're not in it, so it's going to raise up with no one in it, and it's going to go out of our reach and be dangerous. So in order to raise it up, we'd actually get inside the lift, and then it's the same thing. You just pull the clutch, push it forward to raise it up, and pull it backward to drop it down. And that's how you operate it. So the back wheels are stationary, and the front wheels will spin almost 90 degrees. So you want to set the back wheels if you're trying to navigate into a tight spot. Put the back wheels in place, they'll pretty much stay in place. Crank the front wheels all the way to one side, so they're almost perpendicular. And then the whole thing will just pivot around those back wheels. So that's kind of the easiest way to navigate as you're driving the sucker around. So also on the back is where we'll plug it in. So anytime you're done using it, you'll put it back in its spot, which we'll show you in a minute. And you'll plug the sucker in so that it can stay charged. You also have the release button, and now this is for emergencies. So if anything happens and the lift is up in the air and you lose power, this is actually a release for the hydraulics in there. So if someone's stuck up in the air and for whatever reason you don't have power, pull that sucker and the thing will lower down. We are up in the lift. So things you want to remember while you're up here, maybe you come up here to fix a light, something like that. The big things, it's gonna sway a little bit, which feels a little weird, but it's totally safe. There's so much weight down in the battery pack down there, the thing's not gonna tip over unless you're on an uneven surface. That's why you wanna make sure you're on level ground. I mean, pretty much anything we do in the center is gonna be on a flat surface in the building, so you'll be okay. But if you take it outside or anything, you wanna make sure it's not, on an incline, facing sideways. That can be really dangerous. The other thing to do is don't stand. Some people do this, but don't stand like up on the side rails or up on these rails to reach. If the lift doesn't go up high enough to reach, you gotta get a taller lift. The other thing, you can lean over the sides a little bit, but I wouldn't lean out too far. Just for safety, you don't wanna fall over the side of the lift while we're 20 feet up in the air. That would suck. The other thing to remember while you're operating overhead, you wanna be aware of people around you, and you wanna be aware of your tools. You don't wanna drop them, because that's gonna really hurt if it lands on someone's head. So most of the tools that we have will have a tie line attached to them. Put that sucker around your wrist, wrap it up nice and tight. That way if anything slips out, it just falls and catches. Same for if you're working on lights, you wanna make sure the safety is on the light. Make sure you got a good grip on things. All that good stuff. If you can utilize the lift to make things easier for you, like you put a platform up here, and you're maybe pulling down a light, you just set the light right down on the platform. It's a good way to do it. Anything to make it easier on you so you're not holding like heavy weight outside of the lift over people's heads.